Hello, pile one. Thank you for being here. Just a couple things. You will have to excuse the squeakiness of the chair. I don't know what to do about it. So I hope it doesn't show up that much in the sound, but excuse that if you can hear it. And also the lighting's a little dark, but that's because it's late and I don't want to turn on all the lights. But you probably don't care anyway. So with your reading, it's funny, I'm getting really uncomfortable and hot. I've been getting really hot and kind of like I have some muscle tension that's acting up. So I feel like there's this, your heart is telling you that there might be or it's at least telling me that there is some discontent, I think. And maybe a little bit of nervousness or like anxiety. Generally speaking, what I feel this reading is talking about is about you. It's almost like there's a conflict in collaboration is what I'm feeling. It's funny. The heart's desire is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Three of Pentacles being a card of having to work with others and creating in collaboration. Building something in the physical world that is generative and creates wealth for many involved, and also creates like jobs for many involved. So it can be like pooling together skills to create something magnificent, like a cathedral in the sense of this card's depict imagery. But what's crossing your heart, what's kind of like blocking your heart, is the world. Which is interesting because the world is such a, it's a powerful card. It means like a fulfillment of a cycle or something coming into full expression, like almost like a birthing. That's what I'm getting. This kind of, I'm getting like a pregnancy energy from this. Like a gestation period, and the world being this active force of creation. So I think this is definitely about creativity, but I don't really know quite yet why the world why the world is the card that's sort of blocking your heart, but that message will likely come through, of course. But there's this kind of like, it's like something has been finished. But maybe you want more of something. It's like something is over, but you want more of it. But let's see where we go from here. So something that you are being encouraged to let go of, or that your heart wants you to let go of, is the Hermit. And the Hermit card is about seeking wisdom and understanding on a solitary path, using the power of the mind to understand oneself, to understand your inner workings, your inner psychology, learning about the mysteries of the world and applying them to the self in order to become more wise and more full of knowledge about the workings of the universe. I think the Hermit also talks about understanding how you yourself are a micro expression of the universe. Everything that's without is within. And the Hermit understands this through like long journey with not a lot of external resources, and they find the light within and they carry that light with them moving forward. And it's funny that your heart wants you to let go of this. I think that this is the Hermit card talks about how you have been in a stage in your life where you've been doing those things, where you've been soul searching and doing a lot of self-development and healing yourself, healing the wounds that maybe affected your life in different ways, and you took the time to heal those places within and to understand yourself better. And because of that, you've grown a lot wiser. And your heart's telling you can let go of that sense of solitary, of the need to be solitary. and that you can come out of that kind of hermitude, literally, and into a more active role in your life. That's funny that came out, because I guess the Hermit card talks about being more passive, almost like going on a retreat into a cave and meditating and finding wisdom that way. And here with the Seven of Wands, as the energy that your heart is encouraging you to step into, that's like a self-defensive energy, but there's a lot of activity in this card where energy is coming at you and you're defending yourself. And so your heart is actually telling you to be stronger, to not be so passive now. Now is the time to stand your ground, to step up higher onto higher ground, and to fight against. And it's not necessarily fighting against like in a negative sense, but it's about being loud about yourself and about your beliefs and about who you are. It's like there's such different energies, the Hermit and the Seven of Wands. They're just chalk and cheese. And I think that this must resonate with you in some way, that you're leaving behind a stage in your life that was like much more characterized by internal growth, solitude, pensive thought, healing practices, meditation, higher learning, things like that. And now it's about just being on the ground and friggin' going for it. So this is about stepping out in some way, and that the energy that is going to have to be used to be out in the world after a period of time spent more sort of protected, but also intellectually invested. Now this is more of like a physical world thing, an energy expenditure time. Interesting. And what your heart is sort of wanting to ground into right now, so that it can really grow and grow you and allow things to flourish in your life, is through the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles talks about, well, if there's a card referring to groundedness, it is the King of Pentacles, right? Like he is the Earth King, the king who builds everything with material wealth from the ground up, and he builds things that last and that are permanent, things that grow, abundance and plenty. He's King Midas, right? With the golden touch. Everything he touches turns to gold. But why this is an energy that your heart really wants to ground into, I think, is this, again, this is physical realm energy, as stepping out of the mind and into the physical body. And it's funny that I opened up the readings today talking about the Taurus full moon, because this is very Taurian energy, the King of Pentacles. There's even bulls on his throne. And Taurus is about the body and about the worth of the, and sorry, I'm saying three things at once. It's about self-worth, the worth found through the embodied experience of being alive on this planet. Also about monetary worth and about how we value things, whether through exchange or just through inherent value. Taurus is also about work and diligence and being present and embodiment. It's not the same kind of work that Virgo rules. It's more like the energy that I put in, I then benefit from. This is the kinds of things that Taurus thinks about. Taurus thinks about the value of time and energy and themselves within that theme. And also about boundaries and about what is my space, what is my physical realm, what is my physical boundary, like territory, what is my body, how do I value my body, all these kinds of things. So with the Three of Pentacles in the middle as your heart's desire, I feel like your heart is trying to express a need for more physical collaboration with the world, less ephemeral, intellectual, spiritual pursuit, more physical presence. It's really interesting. Also on the bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Pentacles, and so she really rounds out that Taurian embodiment theme, because if we have the King and the Queen, this is like the full spectrum kind of masculine and feminine balance of this archetype. The World, oh my goodness, I just figured it out. Well, the World in the middle, this blockage of the world, I mean, it's actually literal in this sense. It's the world, it's the physical world, it's this world that we live in. It's about embodiment, about coming into being alive here and now, not bypassing spiritually this felt physical world, that an experience that we've been given. This is about your heart desiring the connection with everything by living in the world and not by pretending that we don't live in it. And there's lots of good reasons why we want to escape the world, especially through spiritual pursuits, and to kind of bypass reality so that we can focus on something a little, like something that we deem higher or more spiritual or more divine than what is in the physical realm. But the truth is that the divine is found even in the most mundane things, right? And in the most mundane reality, in dirt, everything is divine. Even like this can of Mod Podge that is on my desk here. This is divine. I'm serious though, because it's created, it has been created. Whether through human hands or not, it's all God, it's all spiritual, and your heart is ready now for you to step into that part of the spiritual truth of life, and to understand even more depth through physical experience and through energy exchange and through being alive, just actively living. That's what the Seven of Wands is here telling us about. It's not telling us about self-defense necessarily. It's telling us about living actively. About, being an active force in the world, just like everything else. So an ideal that you can be, your heart really wants to sort of soar into and keep you focused on, something that is drawing your heart's inspiration, is the Three of Wands here, which is about really just taking a wider, more open view of things, like a higher perspective, and watching how things unfold, watching how life unfolds before you. There's an energy here too of being, of standing sentinel, watching, protecting, understanding that you're grounded and that you've come this far. Protecting what I don't know. I'm kind of just channeling right now. I think it's more that you may be protecting your peace, the peace that you have cultivated up until this point. You might be worried. I think this might be why the world is crossing you, in the sense of it might be causing you some fear or causing some blockages. And it might be because you're worried that the world is a harsh place, or is a place that might bring something that you don't want and that you might have to defend yourself against. But I'm really feeling with these three wands here that they're like spirit guides. Like you're always surrounded. You're always surrounded by angels and by guardians. So you don't have to feel so self-defensive. You are always being protected and guided. And that's an ideal. That's something that your heart really wants you to stay focused on in this next little while or period of your life, is to trust, to just trust in who is around you and to trust in the support of the divine. Because you are supported. See, man is holding one of these rods. He's aware. He's fully aware of his spirit guides. So your heart really wants you to also engage with your spiritual team and to the things that you feel are supporting you in the unseen realms, as much as you can, and to create that connection and to establish or reestablish or strengthen that connection. And to watch as manifestations unfold as well. This is the other part of living in the world, in the physical world, is watching and with wonder and awe how things arise in your life. And you have already mastered the spiritual arts of meditation and inner journeying and self-understanding, self-development. And now you can apply your knowledge and your wisdom and your self-knowledge to bringing things into fruition in the world. And how you're going to do that is an interesting question. That might be for another reading, but that is the energy that you're stepping into and that your heart really wants you to be open to. It wants you to be, your heart is really yearning for an experience that makes you feel alive. It makes you feel like that your efforts that you were putting in are revealing miracles as well, that are bringing in physical outcomes. With the Snow Shepherdess as your oracle card, the Snow Shepherdess is all about life spilling forth through prayer, in a sense, like in the depths of winter, that there's a sign, or actually more like a spell that is cast to ensure life to come in the spring. So this is like a moment in time in your life right now where your heart begs you, almost, which is a funny word that came through, but it's begging you to allow your own life to spill forth and to not hold back anymore, to not be reserved anymore in your life, and just to come forth and let things unfold as they will, and to really be alive and watch your life unfold as well as participate in it. That there's more brightness for you to be had. And your heart is like this pomegranate in her hand, where she wants you to, like, and ritually cut it open. A pomegranate, when you cut it open, it spills all this juice, this like bright red juice. And I feel like that's your heart in the snowy landscape of your life right now. It might be feeling a little uninspired or just cold. Like there's not a lot of passion. There's not a lot of activity and life force kind of running around you right now. It might just be literally winter where you are. But this is a sign from your heart that that life is about to restart again with more activity, with a new energy that's going to bring much abundance and wealth into your life when you just let it. You have to allow yourself to be part of the world in this way. And that can be scary, but I don't think you are afraid. I think that you are very brave. Your heart is very brave and very, very, has a lot of conviction in living. Yeah. Beautiful. Any other messages? So the Nine of Pentacles shows herself. This is definitely about self-worth and about how you're showing up in your work and creative trajectory, I think. There's no cups in this reading, really. There's just pentacles and wands and some major arcana. And so I'm seeing definitely work themes, wealth, self-worth, valuing physical world stuff. So the Knight of Pentacles talks about valuing yourself and valuing your contribution to the world. You are a very important contribution. You have lots of power. You have a lot of resources that you can call upon now to build beautiful things, to create beautiful things in this world. And like this lady with her orchards, she puts in the work and puts in the physical and energetic output or input, whatever. She puts in the effort, and beautiful things blossom from that. So that's your message from your heart, and I hope that it resonated, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, Pile 1. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. So, right off the bat, your heart is desiring something around relationship, happiness, happy home with the 10 of Cups. There's something about a desire for that ideal family life, ideal relationship, ideal just happiness, like emotional happiness. But it's in reverse. And I think that's why it's, a desire. It's something that might not actually be present in your life right now, but it's something that you want to happen. But I think what is blocking it is recurring patterns of, just something that is recurring, maybe recurring failures and things that haven't worked out, or patterns that are blocking you from being able to find the right partner or find the right lifestyle, or just do something that finally settle into a life that feels completely resonant. There's something that is the thing that is blocking your heart's desire is kind of a frenetic energy, something that is flowing and eternal and not stopping, and it sort of keeps you in a state. It keeps you in a state that is not where you're not able to reach that. So we're going to learn more about that as we go along. And I'm just channeling, so we'll just see what comes out. But okay, so that's what your heart is telling you is at the core of its desire right now. It's also telling you what you want to let go of and what you want to open up to. So what it wants you to let go of is the Two of Wands here. I think this is a seeking, a scoping out, looking for something, looking, planning, trying to figure it out, looking into the globe like this, like, where do I want to go next? What do I do? What should I do? Where do I need to go? How can I strategize this better? How can I find the right person? How can I go on more apps, more dating apps, blah, 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 if that's the case. Is this the right person? Let me look. And I think, I think that's that your heart wants you to let go of that, because I think that might be part of the tension, the patterning that's actually keeping you from this sense of emotional fulfillment, is this need to be constantly looking for it. And instead, what you're being asked to open up to is the Sun card, which is so beautiful. That's like pure presence, pure just unbothered happiness, just completely that healthy detachment that children have, that are just not to like their parents and relationships, I mean to the way things go, like they're just completely in the moment. And the way animals too just live completely in the moment. You're being asked to live in the moment and to focus on joy and gratitude and happiness, and to turn your face to the sun like the sunflowers and just revel in what bounty and joy you do have around you. That is absolutely what's going to draw you into an energy that is compatible with 10 of Cups energy, which is ultimate happiness and fulfillment on an emotional level. Instead of this seeking and trying to figure it out, trying to control and understand things and strategize, you're being encouraged to let go of that and step into presence. And that brings me to the Oracle card, which I'm just going to talk about now because it's so relevant. She tames by laying down the staff and rope. So this card is about letting go of control in order for things to finally flow into success and flow into a state of calm and ease. When you lay down the staff and rope, in this sense, it's like trying to train an animal with force and an intention, and just forcing your intention onto the animal, or something. And instead letting go of the tools of domination or domineering, and just allowing the creature to learn to trust you. This is the same process that you're being asked to step into for your emotional fulfillment. Is just stop. Just stop trying. Once you stop trying, everything is going to flow towards you. It's like everything that you want and everything that wants you comes together. And that happens through the sun energy and through this laying down of the staff and rope. Lay down the tools that you are trying to use to force something to happen in your own timing, and just be in the world in the state of joy and happiness. And be like a child. Be childlike with everything. Don't take things too seriously at all. Just be silly. Just be silly with things, and don't try and be so serious all the time. Again, this energy that you're stepping into, that your heart wants you to open up to more, is also about letting go of the need to figure everything out, and also this endless seeking. This is what the Page of Wands, this comes up again, the endless search. And this Two of Swords in reverse is also about like judging, and about thinking that you need to make decisions all the time. Like, you don't need to be making decisions all the time. You're not actually bound. In this sense, your heart's trying to tell you that you're not bound. You're actually, this is just all your own kind of like mind games that happen. Like you kind of bind yourself in your mind, thinking that you need to keep things tight, keep things rolling, keep things on the move, or constantly be looking for things that can fulfill this desire. But actually, that's not going to help. That energy doesn't actually bring anything towards you. It's just going to make you feel kind of blocked. Because I think that in some way this process, the approach that you've been having actually creates tension in you, and thus in your life, in your world, and the things that come forward. And there's sort of a turbulence to this energy that makes it really difficult for things to land. I'm thinking about these boats out here in the water, and the Two of Pentacles, and the seas are all choppy, and so they can't dock, or they can't berth, or whatever it's called, when they come back to land. So when you have this kind of like tense, active energy around going out and trying to make things happen, this sort of masculine yang energy of trying to go out and do things and make things work, make things make sense, make things come into your life, you actually create more turbulence in the seas, and nothing can actually land properly. So you need to get still. You need to get into your body. You need to get into the sunshine, get your feet on the land, and like your bare feet on the grass, kind of thing. And just like have some fucking fun, you know what I mean? Like, just surround yourself with art, go to art galleries, just like go out and make art, roll around in the grass, like get naked, just be silly and play with animals, play with kids, draw. I'm really getting draw. Like, all these kinds of things are this creative Leo energy is what your heart is asking you to step into, because that is going to really bring things towards you in the physical realm with this King of Pentacles. This is again about embodiment. Get into your body, out of your head into your body, out of yang energy into receptive yin energy. So again, like on that note of receptive yin energy, the High Priestess is the energy that your heart really wants to ground into. This is something that's going to make it feel really, really rooted and grounded, and all the energy will spring forth from this. Your heart really, really, really wants you to get into this yin energy of self-knowledge, self-trust. Trust your intuition. Trust that you're on the right path, and that you know best. You know how to read when things are coming. Like, if something were to come into your life, you have the ability to discern whether it's right for you. And even if it's not, you totally can handle disappointments and darkness and things like that. Like this is the high priestess is so powerful because she's not afraid. She's not afraid of the dark. She's not afraid of mystery. She's not afraid of like waiting patiently for as long as she needs to. She understands the mysteries of time and the illusion of time. Time is not necessary. Time, it doesn't matter. She's like also completely tapped into the divine, and she has a direct channel to the divine and from the divine. And she is the one who holds knowledge and understanding on, and she validates herself with that understanding. That's the thing, where the Hierophant or the Pope is validated by an external structure. The High Priestess validates herself. She might have been chosen by others, but she also knows in herself that this is that she is in this position because of her gifts. And that is that's the energy that your heart's wanting you to ground it to, which is really powerful, is really just getting really, really, really confident in your own intuition and in your own sense of self and internal power and connection to the divine and to the truths of life, and just to have fun with that, which is really cool because it's such a deep, deep energy. The High Priestess is like Scorpio energy, and yet your heart's like, I'm going to ground you into that so that you can then go and have fun in the world and not focus on what hasn't been working or the things that you want to bring in. Just be in the world and stop trying to make things happen in a certain way and force emotional fulfillment, because that's not how it works. The ideal that your heart really wants you to keep your eye on, like almost like keep your eye on the ball, is, funnily enough, the Five of Cups, which usually is a card of like focusing on disappointments, being quite sad. But if this is the ideal that your heart is pointing you towards, I think it might be emotional resilience in some way. So your heart, of course, is the emotional center, one of the emotional centers in our bodies. And this card is about disappointment. It is. It's about watching as things end or don't turn out the way we wished or end too soon before we're ready. And there's gray skies. It's not an ideal situation. And yet there is two cups standing, of course. So the other message with this card is always optimism. There's always the opportunity to turn around and realize what there is still standing. And so the ideal, I don't really know if it would be an ideal, but your heart definitely is encouraging you to be honest about what hasn't worked. It's about, just straight up, man. Look at it. Look at the stuff that has hurt. Look at it straight in the face. Acknowledge that it didn't work out. Acknowledge that it hurt. Acknowledge that losing things, people, relationships, ideas, lives, like lifestyles, the things that don't work out. And there's something really, really, really powerful in acceptance. And that's another thing that the High Priestess does. She does not shy away from things that are dead. She does not shy away from the dark. She doesn't shy away from dirt, from the dark, deep places, right? Within us and physically in the world. And your heart is really, really cool. It's telling you to get really, really clear and honest with your own pain and with sadness and disappointment, so that you can then, it won't be holding you down if you can look at it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really getting the sense of fear here. I'm more getting the sense of old pains or resentments or losses, and just being honest about how they didn't work out and allowing yourself to grieve. And in that process of deepening yourself into those kinds of emotions and into the reality of those emotions, you will then expand your capacity to experience joy, which then aligns you with real, like, abundance scenarios. It really, really aligns you with things that can bring you that kind of joy, because you feel that joy on your own. You've expanded yourself into that place of joy through this really, really incredible transformation of like grief and loss. So hopefully that makes sense, because to me it's incredibly magical. That's like a really deep magical process that your heart is talking about and sending you the message about. This is like really, really powerful stuff. And you might actually all be witches who are listening to this, and you might actually just totally get it. I hope so. If not, you're doing it anyway, so who cares? Like, you will get it. And you'll see what I mean. But yeah, this is something that I was thinking about today as well, though, the depth of emotion. So like, when we allow ourselves to feel the emotions that kind of suck and that feel really sad or really difficult to handle, it also, what it does is it deepens us. Like, it literally kind of bottoms us out. So, and that's why it feels really shitty and scary in the moment. But it does kind of bottom you out lower. It's like digging into lower areas of like a grave, or like into a cave even sometimes. And you feel really like you're down there. But when you do that, just like this, it's the magical law of like, as below, so above, whatever, and as above, so below. Like, you then raise the roof in a sense. You like, the sky becomes higher. Like, the potential for joy also increases, because you have stretched your emotional capacity, right? It's like working out a muscle or stretching muscles over time. It's the same with emotional capacity. And when we allow ourselves to fully feel our emotions, even like especially the negative ones, it allows us to then fully feel our emotions, the positive ones. And I can remember a time in my life personally where negative emotion, too much negative emotion, was really overwhelming, and I wanted to cope with certain unhealthy coping strategies. And it only took me a while to realize that I also used the same coping strategies when I was being flooded by positive emotions or excitement, like exciting emotions and things that are like joy and pleasure. And that also overwhelmed my system. And I just thought I was going into party mode, like celebration mode. But what I was actually doing was being flooded and wanting to numb out a little bit, actually. And so I had that realization earlier today. And so this might resonate with you in the sense that, like, you might not even realize it, but you might actually you might actually not be able to fully feel your positive emotions either. And that might be why you're caught in this cycle of trying to think things out and trying to like strategize things. It's okay. Like, you're just kind of in that pattern of activity and of like trying to manifest things through, like, from where you're at. But your heart is telling you that it's time to stop that approach and to try a deeper, more emotional approach where you're accepting who you are, you're accepting what you've experienced, letting go of control, and stepping into an energy of joy. And that's going to be different for everyone. There's going to be a whole story that will be different for everyone in getting to that place of embodiment and just sort of general emotional capacity and resilience. Resilience not in the sense of being hardened to yourself or the world, but to being able to hold lows and hold highs and still stay open with an open heart and patient. And yeah, so that's going to be different for everyone. And there's lots of things that you can do along the journey that can support this. Lots of journal practices, lots of meditations, lots of, if you need a coach or a therapist, I would definitely consider that, so that you can really like maybe heal or let go of some limiting beliefs that keep you locked into certain patterns of seeking and productivity, to let go of hyperproductivity and things that you've been conditioned into that keep you stuck in these patterns that keep you kind of burning out or like unable to actually draw in abundance, emotional fulfillment in particular. Yeah, if you're interested in how I can help more with that, you can always check out the description box. I have some links there. Otherwise, yeah, I trust that you will find your way into this beautiful, beautiful 10 of Cups energy. It's coming. And the journey is going to be beautiful because you're going to step into this gorgeous, gorgeous, thriving energy where you're so alive, you're so emotionally free, you're so trusting of the universe, and you're not stressing yourself out anymore. Okay, so that's your reading, pile 2, and thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and yeah, see you soon. Bye. Hello, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So let's get right into it. So messages from your heart. You have, for your oracle card, the Princess of Purity leaps across, and you also have the Fool coming up as something that is blocking your heart's desire right now. But it was in that placement in the reading, but I am just so blown away by the similarity of these two cards. I don't know if you want to take a look at this, but the Fool and the Princess of Purity card are like basically totally mirroring each other, and they're very much in line with the same message, which is to trust and leap. So especially when it comes to the Princess of Purity leaps across, she is leaping over an obstacle, and that you need to trust in the universe to leap over these obstacles that are in your way. So that is freaking beautiful so far, but let's get into it. So I think something might be stalled, like in a project or a part of your life. Something may have like died or transformed or changed, and it stalled the process. Like something in your environment may have changed, and a project, has been stalled. I don't know. It's weird. Like in this position in your reading, it should be your heart's desire. And then the blockage is the Fool. So it could be that you actually want to stall a project. Like even if it's like a relationship or a creative project or work or something, you're just like, I want to stall this. Or there's an obstacle that I don't want to just like keep going. Something needs to change. Something needs to transform, and I think you might be afraid of taking the leap that is needed. So I know that might not have made sense so far, but please bear with me, and this reading will eventually make sense. I can feel it. So trust in the process. I wonder if that's going to be a message for you. But yeah, so what you're being encouraged to let go of is... Sorry, I'm really giggly. But when I was pulling the cards for your reading, I could not stop giggling. So I don't know if this is your energy or what, or like you guys are comedians or something, but it's like very silly. Even though the cards aren't necessarily giving silly energy, I'm just feeling very silly about it. So anyway, what you're being encouraged to let go of is the Death card with the Ace of Wands. You guys got 2 cards each for your letting go of and opening up to placements in the reading. And that's interesting. There seems to be really strong vibes with you guys. So with the Death card, death is usually about transformation, permanent transformation, inevitability. What I'm really picking up on though right now is like all these characters, all these people, like players on a stage. Like I don't usually focus on them as much, and right now they're much brighter than like the horse and the Grim Reaper in this scenario. So or whatever that skeleton guy is on the horse, the Knight of Death. Yeah, there's sort of this like punk, like skull and crossbones motif as well on the horse. I'm really feeling like, yes, all these people like dying and dead and begging. Popes are begging. There's a pope or cardinal. And this innocent teenager girl and this little kid and then this king. These are all people who have status. No, not the children necessarily, but the two men have status and the two children are like innocents. And then you also have two children here in the Six of Cups. For what you're being encouraged to open up to. Still, there is a sense of mystery in your reading that I can't quite grasp yet, and I'm excited to find out what this is all about. The fact that you're being encouraged that your heart wants you to let go of something as invigorating as the Ace of Wands is interesting. I'm feeling it like it's more of a baton, like a knocking instrument with death. There's something about beating, like something beating a dead horse. I'm literally getting. Okay. See, this is the whole thing about something not working or something being stalled. Beating a dead horse is like, it's over. Like, stop trying to make it work. Stop trying to make fetch happen, Gretchen. Like that kind of thing. And you're being encouraged to move on or to leap over an obstacle. Just fucking leap over it, man. Let it go. Or like, accept that it's over. Accept your fate. Yeah, and open up to the world and the Six of Cups. So the world, you might also have been drawn to pile 1, or if you're from pile 1, you were drawn to pile 3 as well, because there's a lot of similar cards between the two. But the world is about a fulfillment, something coming into fulfillment, something coming into completion. The Six of Cups is childhood memories, soulmates, connection. Memories is really strong. Yeah. So I'm just letting the messages come to me now, pile 3. But what I'm feeling is your heart is wanting you to open up to a new world, one that feels more emotionally fulfilling and more sensitive. I think that you have been in a position of, or in a stage in your life, or an experience that was really, what is this word? Pragmatic and focused on building, focused on strategy and money and things like that. And it's just wonderful. It could be that it was like a project that was going a certain way involving others, and something has occurred that has changed that, or that has changed the momentum, or that has actually ended it, and that by continuing on, trying to force it or trying to keep going with it in the way that it is now is not going to really get you anywhere, and that you're being encouraged to allow transformation to happen. So you can't necessarily make that change, though. The change has already happened. So you need to let go of any kind of culpability you might be feeling around what has occurred, that you don't need to take responsibility for the transformation that's happened, the change, the death, whatever has occurred, like has stopped things in their tracks to some degree. That's not that wasn't up to you. That was up to the nature of the universe. And this is just your opportunity to now change directions, to pivot, and to trust in the way things are going. So the world this is the opening up to thing. You're supposed to be opening up to, your heart wants you to open up to the understanding that something has finished, something has come to completion, something is over, or at least an aspect of it is done. And now there is a new opportunity that is much more emotionally sensitive and emotionally investing, and potentially really, really much more like tender. I'm getting that it's almost like a passionate beginning has come to an end abruptly, or perhaps not abruptly, but it has something that's had a lot of hope to it. Or you had a lot of hope in something and a lot of excitement around, and she gone, it seems, or it has changed, turned itself, or it has proven itself to be not what you expected it to be. And now you're being encouraged to accept that completely, wholly, completely understand that, embody that understanding that like you don't have control over these things sometimes. And now you have an opportunity for new memories to be created, and that you can actually, I think this is also saying that, open up to the beauty that is found in acknowledging that something has ended, and now it exists in your heart as a memory. It exists as something beautiful that you can look back on and tenderly, or with tenderness and with love and with just like a beautiful experience, or knowing that it was a beautiful experience. I'm sorry, by the way, I'm really sorry if you did lose somebody, like an actual loved one, like if they actually passed away. But I don't think that that's necessarily what it is for many people. I think that this might just be about a plan or a project or even a relationship that you thought was going one direction, or you thought that had a lot of potential, and it turned out to not be that at all. And it surprised you, and you were being encouraged to just let go of the unfolding of that, in the sense of having any control over it, because you don't, and open up to your sense of presence in the karma of the world and how things just happen, and that you are then given beautiful experiences along the way. And that's something to be actually to celebrate. So something that your heart really wants you to ground into is with the Two of Pentacles, which has, I think, shown up for every single reading today, which is bizarre. So is the Queen of Pentacles, I think. Oh my God, and the High Priestess. This is so weird. It's like the same cards, but totally different meanings. So with the Two of Pentacles, you're being encouraged to ground into, I think, your daily practices. Daily. This is like Virgo energy with the Two of Pentacles, like daily schedules, daily routines. Very, very grounding energy for you guys, for pile 3. Your heart is like, just focus on the mundane, like that rhythm, the daily rhythm. It's so beautiful. It's like brush your teeth, exercise, stretch, like do your work, eat lots of lovely meals, like keep the momentum going. Because in that momentum, you just find this groove. And I think that taking leaps of faith is actually easier when you're really grounded into your body in that way, and you have this momentum going, that just kind of keeps the ball rolling. Then you can kind of step off into new vistas into the unknown without even really realizing it, which is really cool. I know that is true. Like, I feel that when I'm staying busy, but not in like an overproductive way, just in a kind of like healthy, balanced way, and I'm staying like, yeah, like, and keeping my body healthy and my mind healthy with all my favorite practices, then when an opportunity comes along that might seem a little scary, I'm just really well prepared. I'm just really like I'm much better resourced, you know? So that's what your heart is asking you to do, is take care of your mind, body, and soul in those daily practices of eating well, exercising, meditation, sleeping, and just keep it really simple as these things shift and change around you. Because I do think that you are coming out of an ending and into, it's so funny that you have the world and death, or death and the world, because both of them kind of mean the same thing. They both mean like they kind of both allude to an ending, but also a new beginning. Whereas death is the transformation that comes even when you don't want it to. The world is the truth that is found in the understanding that all things end and that all things begin. That like there is, once an ending occurs, so is a beginning. So there is this kind of like peace that is found with the world card in the moment, in like the eternal moment. And death can be this sort of a little harder to deal with, because you feel like something is being lost and that the transformation is overwhelming, whereas the world is not overwhelming. It's like you can hold it in your body. So, and I think that the secondary message that your heart is trying to send is that the difference between those two energies is in this kind of like passionate need to, or feeling like you did it, versus, yeah, that's what it is. It's like your heart wants you to focus on the memories of what was good about whatever has transitioned out or is transitioning out of your life or changing, and not to try to hold on to the beginning of it. So let's say a project or a relationship has changed drastically from what it was in the beginning. Your heart wants you to let go of the beginning. It wants you to let go of your grip on how things were when it started and accept the transformation. Embody it. Embody that there's something new now, that there's a new stage that we're in, that something has been completed now, some aspect of it has been completed, and that everything that comes before this point is now a gorgeous memory that you can always revisit. And it has enriched you. It has given gold to you in the emotional sense. And as you do this, ground into your daily practices. Stay simple with it, stay mundane, stay grounded, stay easy. And then your heart also wants to tell you that to keep the ideal well, it's the Six of Swords, so that's about, it's in reverse though, but usually it means moving into calmer waters, right? Like realizing that something has come to an end, or that an era of life has changed or come to an end and you have to move on. And it can be a little sad, but it's also moving on to something calmer, something better, something even better than it was. Or at least just like, there's nothing to be worried about the future. You're moving on, yes, but it's a safe environment that you're moving into. So there's no need to be afraid. However, there might be some grief. But in the sense of this being an ideal to keep your mindset kind of aligned to, I think this is about transitioning and understanding the power of transition, and that you can handle change. That's really what your heart is trying to tell you, is that you are amazingly resilient and amazingly creative in your capacity to reinvent yourself when things change and to adapt. You're very adaptable. So this is about adaptability. This is about the ideal that your heart really is wanting you to keep focused on and keep your attention kind of geared towards. Like a thought that your heart really wants you to keep thinking, kind of, is that, wow, aren't I so good at handling change? Aren't I so good at being adaptable and being creative and being open to new experiences? I'm so open. I'm so good at this. Like, that's what your heart really wants you to focus on. And that's a beautiful thing to have as an ideal, is like you know that you are capable of transitioning and capable of moving into new spaces. And even when it's scary and freaky and dysregulating, you have the skills and the resources and the emotional capacity, the mental strength, all these things to leap across with trust in your heart and trust in the universe. So that's your reading, pile number 3. I hope that this experience is greatly enriching for you, and that this new era that you're stepping into, or this new experience that you're stepping into, is wonderful. I think it will be. I think that this whole experience is going to be very strengthening for you. And yeah, and then it's going to make you feel even more confident in yourself moving forward. So thank you so much for being here, Pile 3. And I hope to see you around soon. And if you want to work with me one-on-one or learn more about what I do, there's links in the description box, and you can feel free to peruse there or reach out to me directly. So anyway, thank you for being here, and I wish you all the best. Bye.